This is JD with I'm from Cleveland. I'm here with Frank of Spider Studios. What's happening, man?
Yo, what's up, JD?
So this is going to be the first of many interviews, hopefully, that I'm doing with IMC, and we thought you'd be a great guest to start out with. Tell me, what is your role here at Spider Studios, and how long have you been here?
Pretty much at Spider Studios, I'm the engineer, the producer, the runner, the janitor, the door greeter, the door closer.
The man behind the glass.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. I do everything, dude. People like, they think like, oh, man, you're like the producer here. Like, I'll fucking mop the floors. I don't care. Like,
So how long have you been an engineer?
I've been engineering like on Pro Tools like since I was 15 and I'm 24.
Wow.
And then there's another program called FL Studios, and I've been using that since first grade. So like we always fuck around and say like when I'm with Chxpo, like I've been using FL before I knew how to write in cursive.
So you're a phenom for real,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a prodigy. No, well, so you mentioned Chxpo. What other artists have you worked with here at Spider?
Artists who's all been here? Pretty much everybody, dude. Everybody in the Cleveland scene, like they've hit here, like from Doughboy, Chxpo, Kels, Chip, Ripp Flamez. Who else? Ben West, Doobie. He's from Columbus. Trippie Red.
What's it like to work with those guys? Like,
It's pretty cool because like I mean some sessions we get artists, dude, that's like it's so intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just want stuff done now. And like you could tell like shit's serious. Like there's no cameras, you can't be on your phone. But with people like Chxpo, like he'll come in here and hand me his Nintendo Switch.
just
You know what
ready
I
to
mean?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
So it's more laid back. Certain artists are laid back, and other ones they're kind of more. What would you say? Just they have a higher expectation of what's going on, or is it just more so they have a it's like they have a certain expectation they expect you to have, like.
Yeah, I think with certain artists, that's just their process. You know what I mean? Like some artists that's like very like I won't call them picky. It's just this is how they're processing making the song.
Yeah.
So in their head, they might be over critiquing themselves. So they just take it more serious than what we portray it as out like in the studio.
Yeah.
So I give people that benefit of the doubt. Like when they're real snappy or they're like unsure and you could kind of feel it, I just let it happen just because I've made so many songs. I know how to like cater to everybody's insecurity or like a certain part in the song that's not going the right way.
So you're working with the Cleveland music scene firsthand by being here. When you think of the Cleveland music scene, what comes to mind?
I think with the Cleveland music scene, it's definitely a favor game. Everybody, you got to know someone, but you also got to be a friend to someone to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that's here, like all the people I know, dude, I could kick it with and we go out to like the Flats or something or
Yeah.
come down to Canton. Like I don't have to make music. Like there's been times where like Chxpo or Ben West came, we haven't did shit.
Yeah. So it's not just mixing music here. It's like you get personal with these artists.
Yeah, like, and we have like this thing where if I can't FaceTime, you don't fuck with you.
Yeah. so you FaceTime the artists a lot and stuff?
Yeah,
like
like I never call no one, always FaceTime.
Yeah.
Or if I'll text somebody if I'm like in a session, it's loud as fuck. Because dude, it's like weird. Like when I was trying to get placements and stuff, like you work with certain artists and you're like, yo, what's up? I'm trying to send you some beats, and then they don't text you back. Then you're like, do I hit them up again or am I nagging? Like,
Yeah. So for artists who are listening right now, what are some of the things they should know, about your role as an engineer or how to approach you or work with you? Like, what are some important things for up-and-coming artists to know?
I would have to say practice makes perfect. And, the session only goes as you make it. Like, an engineer or producer isn't there to... Like, Dr. Dre gets, like, the rap because, he makes everything sound good. But it has a lot to do with the artist. Like the artist is really 80%. We're only 20%.
So
I can only make you sound as good as you sound. Like,
Right.
I can't... If your energy's all fucked up and you don't feel like recording, like, I can't do nothing for you.
So the personal relationship you build with these artists really helps you when you're creating that finished product?
Yeah, because it just makes it better. And it makes it a fun process because we do, like, long-ass sessions. Like, me and Chxpo did a 24-hour session with 16-year-old.
Yo, what even happens in a 24-hour session? Like
A lot of nothing. Like for real, like...
Nintendo Switch and blunts.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Like, when they... So, like, our dude Dax, he worked with Drake. He made, like... What did he make? He made back-to-back, like, a whole bunch of crazy shit. I want to name drop. He's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
But, like, he booked a session, and it was a Canada number. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then 16-year-old called me. He was like, yo, our dude's trying to get in the studio. And while they were here, he was like, you want to do 24 hours? And me being an idiot, drink a Monster, I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
And then Chxpo came. And then, like, after that, it was just anime on the TV in there. And then, like, as soon as somebody would play a beat, Chxpo would be like, load it up.
That's
and he would
living.
just, we did, like, 3 projects.
That's
entire
living.
time.
Do you ever get bored doing something like, kind of having to work on other people's creative babies, or do you like that being on that side of the glass?
Sometimes I do the, like, we call it the gas station work, where it's almost like a 9 to 5. But you know, I gotta realize, like I had kids in here today, like this might be their first time in a studio. You can't expect them to make, you know, a hit song.
Right.
You have to, like, realize that you were in their spot, and at one point in time, I sucked at making beats, like, and somebody had to put up with me in a studio, let me play beats, and, like, just being there, being a mentor. So I think with, like, the younger cast that just come in for the hourly rate, I look at myself as like that, like, dude, like, I'm just here to kind of walk you through the shit and help you grow, like, regardless of how good this will come out. I mean, there's a good chance that it might not come out as good as, like, the Drakes of the world, but at the same time, you're in the studio, and, like, that's where it starts, you know what I mean?
What has being in Spider Studios and seeing the Cleveland music scene taught you about discipline?
Just keep your word. Like, if you're gonna do something, do it, because, like, that stuff will snowball effect so fast, dude. Like, with beats, and, like, so say, like, somebody had to get a song mixed, and I tell them, oh, I got you tomorrow, and I put it off. There's like 10 of them, so now I just put off 10 things that's gonna take me. Like, always just keep your word and just be solid.
What advice do you have for engineers who are, you know, further behind than you and trying to break into the industry?
Just watch YouTube, dude. Like, I shit you not, dude. I learned everything off YouTube.
Yeah, in the age of information, it's kind of like we have all this access to all kinds of information and how-tos for everything. So there's kind of like no excuse at this point if you want to do something. It's just like go out there and do it.
Yeah, dude. There's this YouTube channel called Pensado Palace, or I think that's his name. His name's Dave Pensado, and, like, he'll tell you how to use the plugins, like, and he mixes down, like, people's songs, like, right there. So I would just screenshot it, see what presets he used on, like, Snoop Dogg, and then come in the studio and be like, all right, how does this sound versus what I was doing? And then you pick up little things. So that's what I tell people, just go on YouTube. Like, some schools for some people, but for me, like, dude, I just picked it up and started recording all my friends and started getting on YouTube. And
so you were self-taught?
Yeah, I'm self-taught, pretty much.
So what goes into that? Is it just kind of like finding out what you need to know, what equipment you need, and going from there?
Yeah, it's pretty much like, with all the gear and stuff we have at the studio, it's almost like a baseball collection. Like, being good as an engineer is only like this much of it. The more fun of the thing is, like, looking up on, like, the gear and, like, what was used on certain records, and, like, being a part of, like, you know, the community as far as, like, this gear versus this gear, or as far as, like, a new sound and a new trendy sound. Like, it to me, that's where I find the passion in it. Like, recording is the work. The fun part is, like, the creative side and, like, the community around it.
So there's an artist right now who might be listening who probably has a home studio. They don't have the budget for super expensive gear. What's your best advice for them if they want to have the best sound or improve their sound?
We always say at the studio, nothing beats a good song. I mean, look at Soulja Boy. That shit was recorded on nothing when he first came out.
Yeah.
And they bumped it in the club.
Really? So the tools don't always... I heard you saying earlier before we started recording that, you know, you could turn on GarageBand and work with the stock that's in front of you.
Yeah, like, that stuff don't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could use whatever. As long as the song's good. Like, if the song's good, that will be anything else. A good song will outwork a good video, a good outfit, a good Instagram. Like, it's just a good song.
Who are some of your favorite artists to work with creatively?
Creatively, probably... Oh, this is tough. Probably my favorite artist to work with is probably Billard.
Billard. Tell me about his process.
He's just like me. We just vibe on the same length. Like, when me and him get in the studio, it's like I could get on Billard's computer and make beats. I'm that comfortable. Like, certain people, like, I don't want to touch their stuff, but Billard stuff, I'm like, dude, let me see your computer real quick.
So you're you try to, you know, you have that relationship where you're comfortable enough to be a part of each other's creative process.
Yeah,
right?
you know, because usually I only make beats with my brother. But, like, as far as, like, outsourcing and, like, having, yeah, probably Billard is probably the next one. Like, as far as producers go.
Are you an artist yourself?
No, I never rap, never tried.
Dude,
never
you gotta hop on the mic, bro.
I know, man. Everybody says just throw auto-tune on once. It's,
I mean,
like,
you're here constantly, so I would think that, like, at 2 a.m. one night, you're just like, man, screw this. I'm just...
Yeah, I don't know. My brain don't work. Some people's like that, though. Like, when I was talking to Crit, he was like, sometimes it's hard for me to write raps to my own beat because I'm still thinking from, like, a producer standpoint on, like, how to get the beat together better. Like, I'll listen more to the drums and melody than, like, trying to come up with words. And for me, it ain't like a problem. I just would rather make beats because I'm not no rapper. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so when you Google Spider Studios, you know, one of the first names that comes up is MGK. Have you worked with him?
Yeah. I did a couple things early with MGK. I did this song called Her Song.
Okay.
It was like a pretty big song right before his album dropped, and like we sampled this band called The Script.
Yeah.
And it like kind of broke the internet because like that was like the first like one of the first songs where you don't like sample like stuff from the 70s and 50s. Like I sampled a band that just released that song a year ago.
Right.
So it was like kind of a different swing of things. Like you could sample new music. And then right after that, I did that for him, and then I moved down to Atlanta. And then whenever I came back, and I came back here with Ben, I like whenever we was working on General Mission, if they needed something added, like drums or guitars tracked, I would help out. And then me and him recently just did the Netflix record.
Well, oh really? Tell me about that. So he's got that new role as someone in Motley Crue, right?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't touched base with him on it.
Okay.
But as far as like the Netflix thing, I mean, that stuff was fun.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Took 3 days, started from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's it like for you to see his process, like, you know, from back then to now? Like you start to see these artists that you work with kind of blow up and gain more clout as time goes on. Do you feel like this attachment to their career? Do you feel like you're a part of this, like, you know, this living organism that's kind of just always growing? And
I mean, sometimes I do, but then sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find myself just being a part of the puzzle, but not in an instrumental way. Because he has his people like how I have my people.
Right.
Because like my people's like Trippie Red. Now like Trippie Red, that's somebody that I could say like, you know, he's the little homie. Like to see him blow up is like, for me, that hits home. Because like, damn, dude, you're really on. Like
that's family.
Yeah, it's like, damn. Like from the MGK situation, I can't really speak on that.
Right.
Just because he is like, I mean, I'm pretty cool with him, but he is definitely somebody I work with. But from the Trippie perspective, like, we grew up on the same street.
Yeah.
The stuff he throws up, we throw up. You know what I mean?
And there's those bonds, like, you know, when you make music with somebody, it's almost like, you know, you guys are family in a spiritual way almost. Not to get super campy, but it's like you have an attachment to like what they love, their passion.
Yeah, like with him, like he calls, you know, like him and his cousins all call my dad Pops. You know, there's been times where I'll FaceTime one of them and they talk to my dad the whole time. Like I don't even talk to him, like, because it's that close. So like when we all get in the studio, it's more of like a family reunion. Like, damn, dude, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, this is crazy. We're all in the same room.
So what's the difference? Like, how's the feel different from working with someone like your homie Trippie Red? He said his name is, and then like meeting people like, you know, members of Bone Thugs and stuff like that. What's the difference there?
I mean, when I first met Crazy Bone, dude, I was nervous as shit because it's like, dude, it's crazy. Yeah, it's fucking Crazy Bone. Like,
yeah.
And like, I really don't know what I'm doing. Like, everybody thinks I know what I'm doing, but I'm still shooting shots.
Fake
dude.
it till you make it.
Yeah, like I kind of know what I'm doing.
Right.
But like when he first came to the studio, you know, they came with him. My dude Kane, Jamal Kane's the one who set it up. He's a rapper from Cleveland.
Yo.
And he set it up, and he was like, "Yo, Crazy Bone got to do a verse." I'm like, "Okay." And I wasn't nervous. Like, man, I ain't nervous. Dude,
and then they
fucking
fucking
walked
bugging,
in.
dude. Like
dude, all of them walked in. I'm like,
Nah.
what the fuck, dude? Like, you're all here. Like,
you should have just grab a pic right there, man. That'd be, who knows? That's history, Cleveland history, man.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking nuts. Because like, but then after you get going and you start like, you know, after you get going, you're in your paces, and like, all right, you're Crazy Bone. Then we start making a song, and then you kind of get lost in the song.
Yeah.
Then it's like, hey, yo, can you redo that line? And then he took it as like, oh yeah. And then after that, it was like, they're family. Like,
So they become human, right? Like,
yeah, dude,
at first
weird.
it's like, these are the dudes who are on my posters. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, okay, I see you're a normal, approachable human.
Yeah.
Like, we can create and like talk together and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, and it's different because we look at them as kind of legends, but they're from Ohio, so it's like the
Right.
LeBron thing.
It's
like,
a home thing.
Yeah, but like people in Atlanta, they love Bone, dude. Like that's like our Gucci, like how we fuck with like Gucci Man and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how like Bone is to them.
Right.
That's like where the Migos style, all that came from was Bone.
Right.
So like they love it. Like I think that's why Doughboy's like such a impact down there too, is because he's from Cleveland. They could like hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Cleveland has this thing where it's like we've always had these like small cameos in different scenes across the country. You know, like Tupac mentioning like, you know, for my homies in Cleveland no longer breathing. It's like these little lines you hear in all these historical songs. It kind of shows you these artists we admired had a connection to Cleveland. You know, that most people don't really know about.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. It's like, it's for something about Ohio, man. Like I was in the studio in Nashville, and the dude told me like everybody that's at the studio today is from Ohio. I think Ohio is a show me state where if you could do something, show me. And the people that do make it out, they make it out for a reason. Like if somebody's not like, if somebody's producing out in New York and they're from Ohio, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna be like successful because they don't want to You know what I mean? It's such a hard market to get known in Ohio and
Right.
get nationalized. So when you leave and you still have that ambition, that drive, it's like you're
Yeah.
on, dude.
Who's an artist, you know, either from Ohio or abroad that you still want to work with?
Artist that's out right now that I'd probably want to work with is always Drake.
Yeah.
Drake.
Why
He's-
is that specifically?
He's a sauce god.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah,
soft-
yeah. Anything he touches is just
Yeah, he
instantly.
could say the same thing we're saying. It's way cooler. Like
Mhm.
he's Drake, and everything goes platinum. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like my dude Dex did a record from made in 15 minutes and don't work it anymore. Like,
Is Dex local here?
no, he's from Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a savage. But like he did a Drake record and got like $1 million off it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, from a business standpoint and creatively, it's like, dude, I could in the big thing with like Drake. So like to say if I was to work with like another artist, like their kind of stuff don't stay relevant like Drake. Like I could still bump So Far Gone and the stuff's
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's still classic. It's that
Yeah.
staple.
So many kids they kind of get caught up in the artist vision, but it's interesting like talking to you now. I see that there's so much value in like being an engineer and being a part of that musical process. You can still have such an involved, you know, career in music and not be the artist. You can be the engineer or a producer. Like it was amazing to me recently I found out about I think a 15-year-old kid who's like producing from Cleveland. What's his name, John? Or anyone?
What, Drum God?
Drum God.
Yeah, I've never met him yet.
Yeah, Drum God. So this kid's like 15 and making like, I think he just made a track with YG. He's done some other work for a lot of different artists. And you know, when you see stuff like that, does it kind of make you wish like, man, I wish I would have like been networking earlier, doing something like that? Or
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's all timing. You
Yeah.
know, everybody got a different path. Like,
yeah,
but that is crazy. He's 14. You know what I mean?
it's nuts. Like, how does that even work? You know?
Yeah, it's
At
like nuts,
at 14, I'm watching like Rocco's Modern Life still, like, you know, barely coming into being a high schooler. But what would you say are the best and worst parts of your job?
The best part is getting high off making a good song. The worst part is like you have no like schedule. Like you it's a gift and a curse because this is all I do. Like most people, you know, they have their shows, they go do this, like I make music. So like it's hard to like separate music from like your life. You know what I mean? Like and you can get caught up in that stuff like we did this song for LeBron and the shit went viral because we tweeted it on some like Clout God stuff. But like you could get caught up looking at your Twitter feed go like viral like
Right.
all day. Then you got to realize like I might be getting 1,000 retweets a minute, but my bills are still due.
Yeah.
You could get like caught in that stuff real fast, and I think a lot of people do in a way.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah, dude, they just get lost.
So how do you kind of find, you know, that balance and kind of like keep yourself grounded?
With me, you know, with the studio schedule, I have a schedule and I stick to it. And sometimes I'm shooting from the hip on like certain situations. Like 16-year-old hit me up was like, "Yo, you want to go to New York?" a day before we went. So there's some stuff where I take stuff like that, but always like try to find time for myself because it makes you better, dude. Because once you get burned out, you're just like you're burned out. You know what I mean? So like I'll go home, play Call of Duty and shit, and then come back up here to Cleveland because I'm from Canton. But like that one day off, dude, is like
Your time to recharge.
yeah. Like I was telling the one kid that was here today, like once you go on tour and you come home, like your house don't even feel like your house. That's the weird stuff. Like when you walk in your house and it don't even feel like because you haven't been there in 6 months.
Right.
So like shit's just weird. But yeah, just find a balance. Like I just stick to a studio schedule.
What's your advice for artists who, you know, they're kind of hitting this rut where like they don't really know how to grow at this point. They see a lot of people getting on. They're not really able to make noise right now. You know, from being around all these artists, what have you learned from them that you would kind of share with these guys who are still trying to make it?
With everybody that's been around here, I noticed like their friends listen to their music first. Like a lot of people make music, but they don't show their friends it or their friends don't post it. Like you got to get like your inner circle messing with your music and promoting it on their Facebook and stuff.
Right.
Before anything, you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be the other way around. Like you shouldn't do music, post it, and none of your friends rock with it. It should be like, no, your friends should have your stuff in their playlist and stuff.
Yeah. That's
So-
almost like a good measure if you're dope or not, too. I mean, like, if the people that
Yeah,
care
it's
about
like-
you the most aren't sharing your stuff, it's like there's something going on here. Maybe you could ask them for feedback or something like that.
Because with your friends and stuff, like say you made a song and you showed 3 of your friends and then they post it on Facebook. They got friends that's friends of them that ain't friend of you. So it's like they're going to show their 3 friends and then they're going to show their 3 friends. And then it just keeps going until like, Because all you need is 100 real fans, and then you're on. Like,
Yeah, you start making because they all have friends, and you start making that little buzz.
But when you like leave out your circle of friends, or they're not like rocking with you, like you kind of break the chain, and it's hard to like gain momentum without being like Instagram famous or like having a budget.
Right. So you mentioned working with LeBron. Tell me about that. So he came through Spider Studios one day.
Yeah.
Or what?
So like back in 2012, the owner Ben Schigel, he his one buddy knew LeBron, set it up. LeBron and Kevin Durant came and did this song.
Wow.
They did a couple songs actually. They got like a whole mixtape. And then during the finals, we seen that LeBron and Kevin Durant got a secret song. So I'm like, oh shit. So I call my dude Brian. I'm like, yo, what should I do? Because I know about that song.
Yeah.
And Ben's he's kind of old school, so like he don't care about Instagram and stuff. He already has money. He
Yeah.
had money before the internet, so he don't care to get Instagram famous. So I was like, man, we should like put up a video and put like, if I get 1 million retweets, I'll leak it, dude. And we put up like a 30-second snippet.
And that's how that whole thing went viral.
Dude.
And
it
just
was
went
crazy, dude. Once I saw like Ellen DeGeneres retweeted it, it was like done.
It's on.
Yeah, it was like. And then Rich Paul called us, and it was like, but he rocked with it because we didn't sell him out. You know what I mean? Like, we just did just enough to get, you know, a little bit of business, and it still kept them in like the shine, like in the light, without being like, oh, LeBron's cussing or Kevin Durant's cussing.
Right. So just something that wouldn't really mess up their, you know, their popularity.
Dude,
or
especially
anything
during
like
the
that.
finals, like.
Yeah, it's a critical time.
Yeah, but we still have the whole mixtape, so it's like.
Yeah.
Like, what do? Do I make a SoundCloud and drop it, or do you just like?
Yeah. What are your some of your favorite experiences here? What are some of your favorite experiences here?
Probably outside of the studio, like during the summer, dude, we have these crazy bonfires.
Oh yeah, right in the back over here.
Yeah, right in the back. And that's like when artists are like really like when people you work with become like friends and family.
Right.
When it's like, dude, I just record you, but like when Kels is here during like the home session, like he brought his daughter and stuff, and we had the trampoline, and they were on the 4-wheeler, and then we had a bonfire and made like grilled food and stuff.
That's dope.
So like you could like take a step back from like us making music together, like, dude, we're just vibing. Like,
that's really cool. So, man, it seems like the more I talk to you, I kind of see how the Cleveland music scene really is just this like intertwining family. What do you think like that should be the approach when these artists are networking? Is it really just to go out and try to like make bonds with these people in the scene?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like, you know, like become a cheerleader, but become somebody's friend first. Like, you know, so many people are quick to give you a CD and not introduce themselves. It's like crazy, dude. I'll go to these meet and greets and like it's like they're trying to finesse me.
Right.
It's like, dang, dude, like
treat me like a person.
Yeah, treat me like I'm not a zoo animal. Like, don't take a picture. Like, I don't get pictures taken. But like with the whole like being around those cats that are the ones getting their pictures taken. Like, you could see like me and you having a conversation. Somebody run up on them. Hey, can I get a picture?
Yeah.
Be all rude and shit, and then just walk away. Not even say thank you.
Yeah, there's not really any value on that personal connection. It's more so like, hey, look who I was with Instagram, and then it's kind of, you know, impersonal.
Like, or don't even take a picture at all. Like, you know, you were there with them. You don't gotta like, dude. I don't got pictures really with anybody. I think Scene's the first one to ever take a picture with me and MGK, and it wasn't even a real picture. It was like my reflection in the glass of the booth. Like, because who gives a shit? Like,
are you big on the socials? Do you do that a lot? Or
I mean, now I'm starting to get a little bit on it because I'm getting like pressured into like Ben West and all them. Oh, dude, you just got to get your Instagram up because like, but at the same time, like, I'll delete it and still have like the same people. Like, I could delete all my social media, and that won't affect how much I charge for a beat or who comes into the studio.
It's kind of tough, like in this age where like, you know, some people, especially artists, might be introverts. And they don't really want to deal with all that social stuff, but then you kind of, from a marketing angle, you kind of have to nowadays, or have someone do it. You know, someone's got to be like retweeting or talking about your projects. You know? Yeah,
it's like you just gotta have persona. Like a lot of these new rappers, like they might not. People could say they're not the best, but their persona carries them such a long way. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it really does. Like with the new SoundCloud rappers that's out now, it's all persona.
Yeah.
Even with the face tattoos, like, it's just persona.
They create that personality. They're always active in videos, doing all this, and people are like, oh, they gravitate towards that.
Yeah, and like with the new age of like the famous Dex, the Trippie Reds, you know, the 6ix9ines, they all have cult followings. Like, you know, like artists that we grew up on, like Ja Rule and all them, they don't have like a cult following.
Yeah, it's a different
You know what
feel.
I mean? It's a different feel, but they demand it and they show like. It's just different.
That's really the internet at work, right?
Yeah.
Because it kind of seems like with the internet, It cuts out that middleman and the big label push. I don't need them to blast my stuff to everyone. I can just find who really fucks with my stuff and bring them all to me, and I have this audience that I can take anywhere.
Yeah, dude. And that goes back to like you only need 100 real fans, because like once 100 people will spend $80 to $90 every show with you, well, they're gonna bring somebody with them, and if you buy a shirt, I'm gonna probably buy a shirt, or you know what I mean,
right? So
that stuff, that 100 real fans, that stuff like really works. Like I think Nipsey Hussle was like the first one to actually like, what he charged like $1,000 a mixtape or something like that.
Is that true?
Yeah, wasn't $1,000 a mixtape for his one mixtape, and Jay-Z bought like 5,000 copies or something crazy.
That's crazy.
It was like nuts, dude.
So what's next for you and I guess Spider Studios? Like when you look at the landscape now in the future, what are you hoping for, working towards?
I think with Spider Studios and with me, like I've recorded so many artists, dude, to where they bring their own beats in. I think like with the new year and everything, that if you come to the studio, you rap on one of my beats. And not like on no like demand and shit. Like we're just gonna create. Like I can't imagine you're gonna get in the studio with 40 and you're gonna play him a beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you're gonna get in
right.
the studio with Dr. Drake and download something out of your email. You're there because you're like, dude, what do you got? Like, fuck, I can get a beat from you. Like, yeah, play some stuff. So I think that's gonna be like the next like wave of like where it's just not a studio. Like we have our own sound.
Right.
Like when you come to Spider Studios, like. I don't know, something about it. Like they just have their own sound over there. Like you just rap on their beats, dude.
And when you look at the scene locally, what do you think is really next? Do you see it going in a certain direction?
I see it kind of stagnant, to be honest with you, just because I don't see the DJ evolving in Cleveland.
Elaborate.
I don't see DJ like we have like certain artists that's getting on, but like I don't see too many DJs that's the next wave of like EVs.
Right.
That's doing Tans Fest, that's out here. Like maybe I just don't know about it, but like from my perspective, like there's only a couple of DJs in Cleveland. Like I'm waiting for a DJ to come up that's 19 that's gonna drop a mixtape with some crazy artist that nobody, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, and you want them to have like Cleveland artists on there,
yeah,
and really
like,
just kind of and what's hot and kind of like change up things.
Yeah, and like that's how Atlanta is. Like Esco drops everything. That's how everybody gets on through him at Magic City. So like. I'm still waiting for like that of Cleveland, like who's local that they're gonna play on West 6 that's just gonna blow up.
You spent some time in Atlanta. Tell me about the scene and feel and like things you observed in Atlanta versus kind of what you observe in the culture here.
With Atlanta, dude, it's just crazy because everybody's trying to network. Everybody's trying to meet the next guy. Like everybody's trying to get in the room because so many people are in Atlanta trying to make it happen that nobody's really like. Complaining. Like my one dude told me that, he said, man, I could tell you're from Ohio because you guys complain about dumb shit. We don't care about none of that, dude. So we left that at home. Like we're out here, like just get it. You know what I mean? But that's like the big difference is they just move like 100 miles an hour. Like if they want to shoot a music video, they're calling somebody right now and they're shooting it before the end of the day. Or if they're trying to get in the studio with Beyonce at some point, they're going to figure out who her cousin is that's at the studio that their one dude knows, and they'll be there. Like, that's just how it...
I spoke to a friend of mine named Cream, and she explained it like in Atlanta, they know the value of these people that they're getting to work with them. So, the photographer, they have the money ready to pay that person, or the producer, they have the money ready to pay that person. They know it takes money to make things move. And especially more on the amateur level here in Cleveland, some of these guys, they think they're going to get things for free or just because they're your friend, and they don't really respect, the craft in a sense.
Yeah, and that stuff ain't cool. Like, even people recording out of their house, like even some of my friends, like, they'll buy weed off each other, but they won't pay me for an hour of studio time.
Right.
Or they'll pay their one homie to cut their hair, but if you charge them for a beat, they're like, hey, I thought we were in this together. Why are you charging me? Like,
right. And you got to think about this as a business if you really want to go somewhere.
Like, I understand, like, you're building a brand, and sometimes it's,
It's tough.
Yeah, you got to eat it sometimes. Like, you can't charge all the time. But with, like, I wouldn't say the amateur, but the people just starting off, like, dude, just pay your way. You got to pay your way like everybody else. Like this one dude we had come in, this older dude, he said, any situation, bring a box of donuts.
Just as a social thing?
Yeah. You're getting your car worked on, bring them a box of donuts. He said, I guarantee they work on it right now. He said, that little bit goes a long ways.
Yeah.
Like, it's real, dude. Like, imagine if I would have brought a box of donuts.
Yeah, that's real life wisdom. Like,
yeah,
really,
like just
really.
something that little. Like, people don't get just little gestures like that. Just go a long way.
And it's something that it's you know, it's something that in this generation especially, like we don't really think about those kind of things. We're kind of tied up in our own little selves. Like, you know, it's easy to be so caught up in your phone or so caught up in your own head that we don't really think like the littlest thing can go far, you know. And people mention that, you know, like, hey, that guy, he's decent, solid. They don't forget that kind of thing.
Yeah, dude, like the dude, I forget his name, but he produced the Foo Fighters, this rock band, and literally he was the runner that made good guacamole. But
Yeah.
since he always did shit for him, he kind of got in the room and started setting up mics, and then before you know, he wrote one of their songs.
That's dope. Just by being a good, solid,
yeah, just solid
human.
dude. Like, hey, you know, you start asking, hey, can you run to the store? Then it turns into, hey, what do you think about this part?
Right.
And then you're in there. Then you're like, dude, I'm in the room. Like,
So what are you mentioned some of your favorite experiences so far in the studio? Do you have any like stories or things like that have gone on that you're just like, yeah, I'm glad that happened? Like,
yeah, dude, the craziest shit was Chxpo, dude. He recorded a whole song playing his Nintendo Switch, like, and didn't look up once. Like, one more T, did it, and then all right, ad libs, second ad libs, and done. Like,
yeah,
and I'm not saying like he freestyles like a verse and then stops. Like, start the song, I'm gonna freestyle the hook, spit the verse, and re-freestyle that hook that I just freestyled,
Yeah.
and do the whole song. And that's it. And it's just fun to watch.
that
because-
man is living his brand, man.
Yeah, he's the
really
man.
it. He's
Chxpo
really
for
it.
president.
It's the real deal. No, so when you see Chxpo, I mean, doing stuff like that, is that a huge difference from like other artists? Are they here like, you know, going through notepads and stuff like that and just
Yeah, I think it's a different process. I think with Chxpo, it's like he's having fun.
right?
He's having live fun. Like,
Also,
he
it
don't
seems
care.
like a genre thing because, like, you know, it's all hip hop, but it's like on his end of the spectrum, it's like that's kind of thing you would see more so in his like genre kind of. And then there's other guys where it's like they kind of have more. It's a focus on like a lot of attention to like lyrics and structure and traditional songwriting.
Yeah, and like that stuff's cool, but sometimes it slows you down.
Yeah, his output's crazy.
Yeah, it's like I mean,
I don't even know how many songs he released. You probably have
it's
seen
a
a ton.
lot.
It's
It's
like
30 mixtapes last year.
Wow.
We did 17 songs in 5 hours last week.
in 1 year. That's
Yeah, and
crazy.
that was what he released.
right.
Now Chxpo records at home too. Like, I don't know how many songs is on his computer.
Right.
So it's like, but he just has fun because he was telling me like, dude, I noticed like when I put out music, I could write something and it'll get just as good a response of stuff that I freestyled.
Mm.
And like, yeah, you are losing a little bit of quality, but going back to like your persona,
Mm-hmm.
they rock with your persona more than your music. So it's like you got to find that balance where,
The people who connect with you.
yeah, it's like, and he knows what he's doing, so he's just getting to it.
So as some closing thoughts, you know, what final words do you have for any artists who might be listening, you know, engineers who are interested in, you know, kind of following in your footsteps, or just any thoughts you have on things you've learned working here? Because this is an awesome space. Spider Studios is killing it. Everybody in the scene is like coming here. You know, what are your thoughts on how other people can kind of grow and follow some of the paths that you've been in?
I would say, dude, just be you. Like, I know that sounds like pretty bland, but like, you don't gotta act different around different people. Like, be you, stay true to your word. Like, and no, ain't nothing gonna happen tomorrow. Like, that shit takes, like, dude, that song I did for MGK when I first started, I sent him that beat a year before it actually came out. Like, you just gotta have patience. You gotta have patience, and you just gotta know, like, it's gonna happen if you're in the right direction. Like, it's like working out. If you're going to the gym and you're putting in the work, you're not gonna get a six-pack tomorrow, but you just have faith in that the process is gonna work, and then it does. So that's what I say. Just, you know, believe in the process and just be you.
Dope. Thank you, man.
Oh,
Frank
yeah,
from Spider
dude.
Studios,
Oh
man.
yeah, dude.